of half-truths. In that case, definitely some tall tales. "I'm not so sure about that," she said. "Nice to meet you, anyway." Then she walked into the office behind Secretary Goldberg, the mayor, and the star FBI agent. Nobody invited me, the psychologist detective of magazine fame. Nobody invited Sampson. Monroe did poke his head out. "Stick around, you two. Don't make any waves. Don't get pissy, either. We need you here. I need to talk with you, Alex. Stay put. Don't get pissy." Sampson and I tried to be good cops. We stood around outside the headmaster's office for another 10 minutes. Finally, we left our posts. We were feeling pissy. I kept seeing the face of little Mustaf Sanders. Who was going to go and find his killer? No one. Mustaf had already been forgotten. I knew that would never happen with the two private school children. A little later that morning, Sampson and I were lying across the natural pine floor of the day school playroom with a few of the children. We were there with Louisa, Jonathan, Stuart, Mary Berry, and her big sister Bridget. No one had been able to pick these kids up yet, and they were frightened. Some of the children at the school had wet their pants, and there was one case of severe vomiting. There was the possibility of crisis trauma, a condition I had some experience treating. Also down on the polished wood floor with us was the teacher, Vivian Kim. We'd wanted to talk to her about Siniji's visit to her class, and Siniji in general. "We're new kids in your school," Sampson joked with the children. He had actually taken his sunglasses off, though I wasn't sure if he had to. Kids usually take to Sampson. He fits into their friendly monster grouping. "No, you're not," said Mary Berry. Sampson had gotten her to smile already. A good sign. "That's right. We're really policemen," I told the kids. "We're here to make sure everybody's okay now." I mean, phew, what a morning. Miss Kim smiled at me from across the floor. She knew I was trying to give the kids some reassurance. The police were there, and it was safe again. No one could hurt them now. Order had been restored. "Are you a good policeman?" Jonathan asked me. He seemed very serious and earnest for such a small boy. "Yes, I am. So is my partner here, Detective Sampson." "You're big. You're awfully big," said Louisa. "Big, big, big as my house." "So we can protect everybody better," Sampson said to the little girl. Sampson had caught on fast. "Do you have any kids?" Bridget asked me. She'd carefully observed us both before speaking. She was wonderfully bright-eyed, and I liked her already. "I have 2 children," I said, "a boy and a girl." "And what are their names?" asked Bridget. She had neatly reversed our roles. "Janelle and Damon," I told her. "Janelle's 4, and Damon's 6. "What's your wife's name?" asked Stuart. "I don't have a wife," I told him. My, Mr. Rogers," Sampson said under his breath. "Are you divorced?" Mary Berry asked me. "Is that the deal?" Miss Kim laughed out loud. "What a question to ask our nice friend, Mary." "Are they going to hurt Maggie Rose and Michael Goldberg?" Jonathan the Serious wanted to know. It was a good, fair question. It deserved an answer. "I hope they won't, Jonathan. I will tell you one thing. Nobody will hurt you. Detective Sampson and I are here just to make sure." "We're tough, in case you couldn't tell," Sampson grinned. "Grrr! Nobody will ever hurt these kids. Grrr!" Louisa started to cry a few minutes later. She was a cute kid. I wanted to hug her, but I couldn't. "What's the matter, Louisa?" Miss Kim asked. "Your mom or your dad will be here soon." "No, they won't," the little girl shook her head. "They won't come. They never pick me up at school." "Someone will come," I said in a quiet voice. "And tomorrow, everything will be fine again." The door to the playroom slowly opened. I looked away from the children. It was Mayor Carl Monroe come for a visit to our city's schools for the advantaged. "You keeping out of trouble, Alex?" Mr. Mayor nodded and smiled as he took in the usual playroom scene. Monroe was in his mid-40s and ruggedly handsome. He had a full head of hair and a thick black mustache. He looked businesslike in a navy blue suit, white shirt, and bright yellow tie. "Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to do something worthwhile with my spare time here. Both Sampson and I are." That got a mayoral chuckle. "Looks like you succeeded. Let's take a ride. Come with me, Alex. We've got to talk over a few things." I said goodbye to the kids and Ms. Kim and walked with Monroe out of the school building. Maybe I'd find out what was really going on now and why I was on the kidnapping instead of my homicide cases, and if I had any choice in the matter. "You come in your own car, Alex?" Monroe asked as we jogged down the school's front steps. "Mine and HFC Finance's," I said. "We'll take your car. How's the SIT group working out for you?" "The concept's strong," he said as we continued toward the parking area. He had apparently already sent his own driver and car ahead. A man of the people, our mayor. "What exactly is the concept for SIT?" I asked him. I'd been pondering my current job situation, especially reporting into George Pittman. Carl Monroe smiled broadly. He can be very slick with people, and he's actually very smart. He always appears to be caring and benevolent, and maybe he is. He can even listen when he needs to. "The main idea is to make sure that the strongest black men and women in the Metro Police Force rise to the top as they should. Not just the ass-kissers, Alex. That hasn't always happened in the past. I think we'd be all right without too much affirmative action." "You heard about the murders in Condon and Langley Terrace?" I asked Monroe. He nodded but didn't say anything more about the signature murders. They were not a priority with the mayor today. "Mother, daughter, 3-year-old little boy," I persisted, starting to get angry again. "Nobody gives a shit about them." "So what's new, Alex?" "Nobody cared about their lives. Why should anybody care about their deaths?" We had gotten to my car, a '74 Porsche that has seen much better days. The doors creaked, and there was a faint odor of past fast food lunches. I drove it during the 3 years I was in private practice. We both got in. "You know, Alex, Colin Powell is head of the Joint Chiefs now. Louis Sullivan was our Secretary of Health and Human Services. Jesse Jackson helped to get me this job," Monroe said, as we got into Canal Road and headed downtown. He stared at his reflection in the side window as he talked. "And now you're helping me?" I said, "without even being asked. That's real nice. Real thoughtful." "That's right," he agreed. "You're so damn quick, Alex. Then help me out here. I want to solve the murders in the projects. I'm sorry as hell about those 2 white children, but their kidnapping won't go wanting for attention or help. Fact is, that's going to be a problem. Too much goddamn help." "Of course it is. We both know that," Monroe nodded agreement. "Those dumb bastards will be tripping all over one another. Listen to me, Alex. Will you just listen? When Carl Monroe wants something from you, he'll talk you into submission if he has to. I had seen this before, and now he started up with me again. As the legend of Alex Cross has it, you're broke now." "I'm doing fine," I said. "Roof over our heads, food on the table. You stayed in Southeast, when you could easily have gotten out," he continued with this broken record I'd heard before. "You still working over at St. A's?" "Yeah. Soup Brigade, some free therapy sessions. The Black Samaritan. You know, I saw you in a play once at St. A's. You can act, too. You have real presence." Athol Fugard's The Blood Knot. I remembered the time. Maria had lured me into a theater group. "The play is powerful. It can make anybody look all right. You follow what I'm saying? You listening to me at all?" "You want to marry me?" I laughed out loud at Monroe. "You want to go out on a date with me first, though." "Something like that," Monroe roared back. "You're doing it just the right way, Carl. I like to be sweet-talked before I get fucked." Monroe laughed some more, a little harder than he should have. "He could be buddies with you, then stare right through you the next time you met. Some people called him Coconut around the department. I was one of them. Brown on the outside, white inside. I had the feeling that he was actually a lonely man. I still wondered exactly what he wanted from me. Monroe was quiet for a moment. He spoke again as we turned onto the Whitehurst Freeway. Traffic was heavy, and slushy streets didn't help. This is a tragic situation we're facing. This kidnapping is also important for us. Whoever solves it will be important. I want you to help solve it, to be a player. I want you to establish a reputation with this case. I don't want a reputation, I said flat out to Monroe. Don't want to be a fucking player. I know you don't, and that's one of the reasons you should be. I'll tell you something that is the truth. You're smarter than us, and you are going to be a big deal in this city. Stop being such a stubborn bastard about it. Let the walls come down now. I don't agree. Not if I can help it. Not if I can get in the way of it. Your idea of being a success isn't mine. Well, I know what's right here, for both of us, he said. This time Carl Monroe didn't smile one bit. You keep me up to date on the progress of this case. You and I are in this one together, Alex. This is a career-making case. I nodded at Monroe. Sure thing, I thought. Whose career, Carl? I had stopped in front of the district building with all its fancy trimmings. Monroe slid out of his seat. He looked down at me from outside the car. This case is going to be enormously important, Alex. It's yours. No thanks, I said. But Monroe was already gone.
Chapter 28. 2 days after I returned from South Carolina, I woke to the noise of a crowd gathered outside our house in Southeast. From a seemingly safe place, the hollow of my pillow, I heard a buzz of voices. A line was sounding in my head. Oh no, it's tomorrow again. I finally opened my eyes. I saw other eyes. Damon and Janelle were staring down at me. They seemed amused that I could be sleeping at a time like this. Is that the TV, kids? All that awful racket I hear? No, Daddy, said Damon. TV's not on. No, Daddy, repeated Janelle. It's better than TV. I propped my head up on an elbow. Well, are you two having a loud party with your friends outside? That it? Is that what I hear out my bedroom window? Serious head-shaking came from the two of them. Damon finally smiled, but my little girl remained serious and a little afraid. No, Daddy, we aren't having a party, Damon said. Don't tell me the news people and the TV reporters are here again. They were just here a few hours ago, just last night. Damon stood there with his hands on top of his head. He does that when he's excited or nervous. Yes, Daddy, it's the Porters again. Piss me off, I muttered to myself. Piss me off too, Damon said with a scowl. He partially understood what was going on. A very public lynching. Mine. The damn reporters again. The newsies. I rolled over and looked up at the ceiling. I needed to paint again, I saw. It never stops when you own. It was now a media fact that I had blown the exchange for Maggie Rose Dunn. Someone, maybe the Federal Bureau, maybe George Pittman, had hung me out to dry. Somebody had also leaked the false insider information that my psychological evaluations of Saniji had dictated actions in Miami. A national magazine ran the headline, DC Cop Lost Maggie Rose. Thomas Dunn had said in a TV interview that he held me personally responsible for failing to carry out the release of his daughter in Florida. Since then, I'd been the subject of several stories and editorials. Not one of them was particularly positive or close to being factual. If I had screwed up the ransom exchange in any way, I would have taken the criticism. I can take heat okay, but I hadn't screwed up. I'd put my life on the line in Florida. More than ever, I needed to know why Gary Sinigi had picked me for the exchange in Florida. Why had I been a part of his plans? Why had I been chosen? Until I found that out, there was no way I was coming off the kidnapping. It didn't matter what the Jefe said, thought, or did to me. Damon, you march right outside to the front porch, I told my little boy. Tell the reporters to beat it. Tell them to take a hike. Tell them to hit the road, Jack, okay?